the main thing I wanted to talk about this on the Patreon, and we sort of did a quick thing on whether we thought the Jon Stewart show could be good.
Have you actually watched it?
No, I watched clips though.
Okay. I haven't seen any clips.
So
We were just talking about this yesterday. I was just kind of, not even because of this, but I was just saying how like I hadn't heard anything about the show.
no, I brought it up to you.
Oh, you brought it up.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
No, because
okay.
I read this thing and I was thinking
okay.
about it or whatever. But no, me and Danny all already like chatted about this.
Yeah.
But the Vox article, so we read an article before that was kind of saying like, is it going to be good enough? Are they going to steal from Trevor Noah? Like that kind of thing, right? But the interesting thing about this Vox article, so my point is more about this article than the show, is, and you know that's saying the quiet part out loud. Vox is really saying like in their thesis that they don't think it could be good. And one of the main reasons they're basically saying like he's not going to go far enough kind of thing, right?
He'll be set like they said like he was basically
So I'm going to go through it,
Yeah.
but I think that it's so interesting that like it reminded me of like a wife. Like imagine you had a girlfriend two people and you're going to set the girl up with the guy and the guy's like, I don't know if I can handle her. She's like too high maintenance. Like she's going to be demanding 5 things. She's going to be like fucking wanting so much money. And then someone's like, oh, come on, that's not true. And then you go to the girl. She's like, I don't know if I want to be with that guy. I need 5 things. I'm going to need that. It's like, they're like admitting like proudly, like how much demand they would need for him to like it.
Yeah. I mean, again, we want him to be the voice of us.
Yeah.
We don't want him to be the voice of
himself before.
Yeah, we don't want him to be his like centrist self. It's like our friends sent us the fucking thing in our group chat the other day. I didn't even realize this, where they were showing like the leanings of all the medias.
I didn't get what they were sending to us.
So it was just a chart, and it was like
But why was that interesting?
Because it showed where on the spectrum all these news.
But like, I kind of looked at it and I was like, duh, what's the point?
I didn't realize Vox was more far left than Vice. I would have put them similar.
Is that why he was sending it?
Yeah, it showed the leanings of all the things. So
I'll tell you my opinion of the difference of Vox.
I just didn't know
Vice.
Vox was so far left.
So this is the difference between like the ones like Vox.
Yeah.
Like the people who write the articles for that. Okay, the people that write the articles for Vice a lot of times are just dumb and it's like almost propagandists or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they just, they're just like on board with this wacky shit. Whereas like a lot of the people that write at Vox like aren't as dumb. They're just like they actually do have like intellectually consistent.
It wasn't even a terrible article, to be honest.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like they actually do have like almost like intellectually consistent arguments, but they're just like their goals are insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. But anyways, I'm just saying with the Vox thing, I didn't realize that they were the farthest left of all things.
Well, they have their different sections too, right? Like their politics section is different from their like first person articles about putting dildos in your fucking eye.
Yeah. Yeah, dildos.
But whereas like the Vice articles, they'll release the same like the article that contradicts itself like daily.
Oh, Vice, yeah, big time. Vice is all over the map. But anyways, yeah, Vox.
That's what happens. They're 20-year-olds. Like this guy, I bet you this place has like fucking people with like master's degrees writing for them.
These guys are like proper journalists at Vox.
Well, yeah, whatever
that
fake news journalists.
You fake news.
Hey, you're fake news. So. But okay, so I'm gonna make 2 theses about this because I honestly really liked this whole thing. One, you'll see how much like they don't agree with the stuff that Jon Stewart said before that they do agree with, and then 2, it like they're admitting so much stuff in this article and grazing over it. It's like if it'd be the equivalent of like you're like we're having this argument being like comedians aren't even funny anymore, like, and they were like. They're like, ugh, I went to see this left-wing comedian. He was trying to be funny the whole time. He didn't even make his points. Like, and they're like, you're just like, whoa, you're actually admitting that you think that? Yeah. I thought that like you were pretending that like you don't think that.
Saying this stuff.
Yeah, that's okay. So in the aftermath of the Trump administration, it's no longer clear that the liberal landscape Jon Stewart helped construct was an unalloyed good. Even more crucially, it's not clear that his continued assertion that he was just a comedian who happened to tell jokes about politics was ever all that honest. So they're kind of saying like he should own up to the fact that, he was actually doing politics, not just a comedian. But they said part of what's striking about Stewart's approach from the vantage point of 2021 is the lack of outrage. So out of the gate.
I mean, they take the position where they're like, you're not like, you know, if you get too political, you're no longer a comedian. Essentially is what they want to say. And comedians are very much not hide behind. They go, I'm doing comedy.
And they even say in the article, they're like, well, you know, part of his allure was he's like, you know, I don't really give that much of a shit, which is true because it is cooler.
Absolutely.
Like it is as soon as people see, you know, those memes where you see the person laughing and then underneath they're seething. Like as much as these people think they need to tell comedians what to do, but like everyone can see through that. It's like, that's why no one wants to watch. That's why Gutfield's beating fucking Colbert right now.
Yeah.
Because it's not like they're in the 90s, like being the fucking like anti-Bush, like fucking liberal who kind of like whatever. But like these people are trying to fucking start all these wars and I'm against it. Like, you know, whatever. I'm not about to fucking protest, but like it's clear that these guys are fucking wrong.
For sure. Exactly.
And they're silly or whatever. Yeah, you know, people being like, you know, people with the God hates fag signs outside or whatever.
And it was clearly, and it was clear like what the side right is right and what side's wrong. I mean, the God hates fags was the golden days of just like,
if you're like the golden days of being like a quirky liberal.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, these guys are pretty crazy, and literally 99.9% of the population goes, yeah, that's right.
It's tough to, exactly, like stuff like that, right? But then, they're kind of saying like, he should own up to the fact that he was not a comedian and just do politics. It's like, he should just do like a CNN show is what they're saying.
Sure.
Like,
I will say this,
but they're like kind of admitting, do you see what they're tacitly admitting? They go, so when I watch like Trevor Noah and Colbert, like it's got enough outrage, but like if I watch old, he wasn't outraged enough.
Yeah, he wasn't outraged enough and he was too funny.
Yeah, he was too funny. He wasn't outraged enough.
I like the unfunny political leanings of a Colbert or a Trevor Noah.
Yeah. Who's not trying to get, you know, let comedy get in the way of his points or the principles of comedy.
Yeah. I would also say, by the way, because this wasn't brought up, but like I still have just not really, correct me if I'm wrong, but like none of these guys who ever have like a big thing go away and come back. The coming back never works.
Never works.
Who, like, I can't even, what the closest thing you can
Michael Jordan playing baseball, maybe?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. He came back to basketball.
What?
That was a year. No. I'm talking about people who go away for years. Like, I guess Curb, he left for a couple years, but he came back to do Curb.
Yeah.
Like, identically. But, like, to come back with a new project.
It doesn't work all
it's
that
like,
good.
Dude, it's like Dumb and Dumber 2. No. I'm not saying coming back as like a sitcom actor where you go, I'm doing a new sitcom. That doesn't count. I'm talking about essentially rebooting an old thing.
Oh, no.
And trying to get that lightning in a bottle.
No.
I don't know of one time it's worked.
It's never worked.
And this is essentially what he's trying to do.
That's correct.
Joe Stewart's coming back. He goes, I'm doing the thing I used to do again. And you're like, that's never worked.
And he can't do it anymore. Yeah.
It's never worked.
But also, if they're saying that one of the problems with him is his too comedy focus, which is causing a lack of outrage. So is it possible that you're admitting that comedy releases pressure? Right? Like how many times are they saying like comedy is, you know, causing hurtful and blah, blah. It's like, but now they're admitting that like the more comedy focused one actually created less outrage.
Yeah.
They're like, no, you're supposed to have outrage for the other thing. It's like, okay, well, that goes against all your principles of what you think comedy's doing.
Yeah, these aren't principled people.
Part of what's striking about Stewart's approach from the vantage point is a lack of outrage. Stewart was willing to emphasize how ridiculous it was that the election demanded a bunch of hanging chads in Florida. Just a couple of chads that were hanging out. me and Danny are two hanging chads.
We're hanging chads.
Has people made that joke yet?
I think so.
Yeah, a couple of hanging chads in Florida. But he wasn't about to make anyone feel like they should drive to the Supreme Court building and protest the decision. So he's basically saying, like, when people were watching his show, they were enjoying and they were laughing, but no one was actually, like, getting fired up where they had to go protest.
No.
Which is what was wrong with it.
Definitely got to protest.
It's fucking wild, right? You go. And people are reading this article because it's written with these, like, intellectual, like, kind of, like, pose or whatever you call it. Prose. It's like people are reading this, like, you know, there's some fucking middle-aged woman in, you know, Upper West Side reading this right now, drinking her coffee, like, yeah. Yes.
I mean, some of it I honestly like do agree with.
No,
though.
but
It's
they're
like-
right.
Yeah.
They're right, but they're wrong about why it's better.
Yeah,
like
for
they're
sure.
right about why it won't work because
yeah,
this
yeah.
is what you need in your audience.
Exactly. And you're like, should he be doing his Daily Show thing again? No. He should
Because
not be trying
you
to take a
are
second.
his fan base and you will hate it now.
Yeah, it's like he's basically fucking like had a hit record in the 90s and he's trying to like we're bringing it back.
It's the edgy boy coming back and being like, "Oh, you guys ready for some edgy comedy?" Fuck.
Or like Dice being like
I'm
Dice in
sorry that I swore.
Dice in 2021. He's like, who here wants to hear some fucking nursery rhymes? It's like nobody.
Some people
Don't
still
want
do.
to, but like not. We want to hear the old ones.
If we want to hear the
we don't
old
want to hear
ones.
the new,
Not the new
the
set.
new fucking.
That's
ones.
correct,
Yeah,
yeah.
like nobody wants to hear the new ones.
So it really does feel kind of like that, right?
Dude, imagine you saw Oasis gets back together and you go fucking go see Oasis. And
I
go,
did.
and we're seeing all the new songs.
Oh, they do that because you see, I saw fucking Liam and he loves playing new songs.
Yeah, and how'd you like that?
Not good.
Exactly.
I did not like it very much at all.
You go there, you want to hear Wonderwall over and over again.
You want to hear that one album, top to bottom.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. But yeah, so that is true. But it is also more important. Whereas, I'm with you that what they're saying is correct, but they're not realizing how crazy it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a guy being like, I mean, I don't think that this girlfriend is going to be able to be a good girlfriend to me because, I demand a back rub like 12 times a day and she's not going to be able to do that. And then, if we go to the bar, I like a girl that can punch people out every time we go to the bar. And at no point do you like, maybe my demands are weird.
Maybe my demands are a bit off.
But she is right, or this person, a guy or girl, does speak for the fucking, probably the common opinion on this.
Also, not to, but like this Vox thing, this whole thing doesn't even need to exist. Like this is the most fucking like open landscape right now where you're like, the market will just decide this.
Well, I don't know because
You can have your opinion on whether it's needed. That's
a
obviously what
network
it is.
show, yeah.
It's a network show, but it's not really a network show. It's on Apple Plus. I don't fucking know many people who have Apple Plus. I don't. So the amount of people who talk about Ted Lasso, and I'm just like, I don't even know anybody who's seen it. I've never heard one person that I know who's like, yo, I was watching
couldn't
Ted
agree
Lasso.
more. It is all industry buzz. It's like girls.
Yeah, you go like, dude. All I
No
hear
one
about-
wants to watch this.
All I hear
All
about
buzz.
online is about Ted Lasso.
Patton Oswalt talking about how great it is.
I talk to all our friends who are in comedy, and I've never heard one person be like, I'm pumped for Ted Lasso.
I've never even been like sparked to think about going and watching it.
No. And I get that Apple Plus is trying to make this thing happen, but like, I don't know anybody who has Apple Plus.
They said for Stewart to harangue or emote about the things he was joking about wouldn't have been funny. Moreover, it wouldn't have been cool. So they're saying like it wouldn't have been cool. And it's like, yeah, like Kimmel, Colbert, fucking thing. Yeah, yes, exactly. Doing that's not cool.
Well, there's a reason why you didn't really hear about Trump from Stewart. Like, he just took Trump off. Like, Stewart just
he
basically
knew that it wasn't a move.
He just knew that he's like, yeah, it's not the move to go against them, but then it's like kind of hurts him now that he was disappeared that whole time too.
Yeah.
It's like it's a real lose-lose. Like I really
Well, Stewart's doing like to some degree the same thing we're doing now. I mean, at some point it became pandering near the end, but like when he was started.
But I'm no 100%. But I'm saying like
Same,
for
like,
him,
vibe, whether
there
or
was a
not it's
bit of
exactly
for
aligned.
his stature and what he was doing before. This was a lose-lose because like his kind of thing was he probably should have gone after Trump, but then comedically he knew that was the wrong thing to do.
Right.
So then he's just like, I'm sitting this out, and then you're like, that's also a loss if you want to come back and do this now. It's just like it was a lose-lose. It's just like you got to just
He had a lose-lose.
Yeah.
But that's what happens when things change, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, 100%.
He was fucking making fun of the thing. It's the same as the, but the truth is, like, this all switched. Like, that's why you look at anyone that was, like, funny and smart, the fucking Jimmy Dores of the world, like, all those guys, it's like, yeah, they all kind of, like, started making fun of different things. Like, Glenn Greenwald, it's like, they were all fucking making fun of this thing. Then it sort of switched, and they all sort of switched, and they were making
Yeah,
fun of that thing
of course.
now. And it was like Jon Stewart, like if he was probably 30 when this happened, but when you're a legend for making fun of that thing,
well, his mistake is trying to come back to the thing.
that's 100% the
It's
mistake.
like the mistake is trying to come back to the exact thing, and you go, that's where it's a lose-lose. There is a win where he's like, I'm rebranding.
You just go give a
myself.
speech every now and then, or just to make a movie that's not related.
Well, he literally his movie was related, and then he'd like, or just do stand-up.
Maybe his docs are doing okay, but
I don't know.
whatever you want to do, but this isn't it. Or he just goes full fucking like edgy boy.